How far can a mother go to seek justice for her daughter who has been brutally murdered? A mother's love is something that can never be comprehended. A mother would go to all lengths to seek justice for her children. Even if the government gives up on justice, a mother would never give up on it, especially when it is her child. But what if some people who don't want justice to be served shut the voice of a mother by killing her? In this case, will justice ever be served to a mother who was murdered cold-blooded because she was seeking justice? Just a reminder of how you can enter our new giveaway in which you can win a new iPhone 12 Pro or a new MacBook Pro. Just leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and watch the whole video till the end. Hey guys, and welcome to Hollywood Heat. By now, you may have an idea about what today's video is going to be, isn't it? Today, we will be looking over at the chilling true story behind Netflix's The 3 Deaths of Marisela Escobedo. Before we proceed to the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to our channel. Do you want to learn how to make $10,000 a month online? If yes, click the first link in the description and take your first step towards financial freedom. Netflix has been dropping amazing documentaries now and then. Some of them inspire us to achieve something, some of them teach us valuable lessons, while others bring light into the unfortunate truths about the people and the world. From Social Dilemma that showed us the dangerous human impact of social media to American Murder, The Family Next Door that showed how a man could kill his own family without having any regrets, to a Life on Our Planet that showed us the changes on Earth from the beginning. Netflix brought documentaries that showed subjects of great importance which were truly eye-openers. One such documentary that brought to light into one of the significant subjects in the world as a whole is The 3 Deaths of Marisela Escobedo. This documentary aired on October 14th on Netflix. The documentary is about a Mexican mother's tireless struggle to jail the murderer of her daughter. The documentary, that is 1 hour and 49 minutes long, shows the mission of the mother, Marisela, to find the person who brutally murdered her 16-year-old daughter, Ruby, that eventually led to her own murder. This is just another story of one of the many mothers who lost their daughter. The thing that stands out here is that it is the story of a mother who refused to let the death of her daughter be just another statistic to be used for studies and researches. It all dated back to one unfateful day in 2008. Marisela Escobedo from Juarez, Chihuahua, reported her 16-year-old daughter Ruby Freire as missing. Ruby wasn't found despite the strong search led by the police department. Her parents almost gave up the hope of finding her, but wished that wherever their daughter was, she was safe and happy. A year later, Marisela and her husband received the devastating news of their daughter's death, which changed their lives forever. A year later, Ruby's dead body was found, but this wasn't just a normal corpse. It was a heart-wrenching sight and an incident that displayed the brutality of one human towards the other. Remains of Ruby's body were found burnt and dismembered in a trash bin in Ciudad Juarez, across from El Paso, Texas. This was a cruel act of humanity that shook not only Mexico but the whole world. Police weren't able to find any evidence regarding this brutal murder of Ruby Freire, so eventually they were going to close the case. But Marisela wanted otherwise. She refused to let her only daughter's death be another statistic on the list of murders that happened, and hence she did what every mother who lost their child to such vile acts should do. Marisela embarked on a mission to find the monster disguised as a human responsible for her daughter's death. Marisela and her husband strongly believed that the person who murdered their daughter Ruby was Ruby's live-in boyfriend, Sergio Rafael Barraza Bocanegra. Marisela, alongside her husband, somehow managed to locate Sergio, and he was arrested and taken to Juarez for trial. Sergio confessed that it was he who did this vile crime in the court and told about the burial of Ruby's remains. Despite his confession to committing the murder, Sergio was acquitted by the judges due to lack of evidence against him, and eventually he was released from custody. The fact that Sergio was released despite his confession of committing the murder sparked a fire in Marisela to raise her voice for justice. The incident was soon followed by a series of protests that were led by Marisela and the rest of the Escobedo family to have Sergio arrested and to punish him. Marisela held a number of protests against the Chihuahua state authorities for the acquittal and went on to protest until this verdict got the attention of the whole wide world. The case was reopened. A circuit court overturned the acquittal. After going through the case thoroughly, Sergio was held guilty for the murder and was sentenced for the same. However, by this time Sergio was in hiding. That didn't stop Marisela. She started a search of her own to find Sergio, which ended up in her finding Sergio's connection to a powerful drug cartel. Little did Marisela know then that her search to such a piece of information was going to cost her life before she accomplished her goal of bringing justice to every case of femicide. On the cold evening of the 16th of December 2010, Marisela Escobedo, along with many others, was holding a peaceful sentinel for her daughter and other victims of femicide outside the Chihuahua State Governor's office. Everything was going peacefully and well until many men in masks arrived in a car. Marisela was then seen arguing with them, probably telling them not to cause any trouble. She then tried to escape before she was shot right in the head. She was immediately rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately, Marisela succumbed to her injuries and took her last breaths on the hospital bed. This was the second murder in the family. 2 days after Marisela's death, a brother-in-law of the family, who also co-owned a business with Marisela, was found dead. His body was found dumped on the street after his entire business was lit up in flames as another revenge killing, thus murdering the third member of the Escobedo family. 2 years later, after Marisela's death, in 2012, Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua Governor Cesar Duarte announced before the media that the police had caught the man behind Marisela's murder in December 2010 on the Chihuahua State Capitol steps. The man who shot Marisela Escobedo was reported as Jose Enrique Jimenez Zavala. The police said that Jose Enrique Jimenez is an alleged gunman who worked for the Los Aztecas gang, which are enforcers for the Juarez cartel. In the confession that was telecasted on the national television, Jimenez, who was 29 years old, said that he murdered Marisela on orders from the Zetas and La Linea, who also are the gunmen for Juarez cartel. However, this didn't seem like a genuine confession, but rather as a setup where Jimenez was portrayed wrong. Juan Escobedo, the son of Marisela, also felt the same. In an interview he said, "I'm very sad and angry that they still haven't resolved my mother's case. We met with the Mexican authorities at the Mexican consulate in El Paso last year and ID'd the criminal. They promised there would be an investigation, but after that, they never responded to me again. Jimenez is not the man who killed my mother." And just like that, this also went on to become another unsolved murder. This Netflix true crime documentary brought light into one of the major issues that are happening around the world. This documentary focused on the topic of femicide and abuse of power that results in injustice. This is yet another true story that portrayed the same story. A woman who was killed and the man, despite admitting to the crime, walking around freely, while many other women are living in fear of being the next Ruby or next Marisela. It is extremely angering that despite many advancements, justice is not being served properly. Many moments in the movie feel like a real punch in the gut. The first huge punch in the gut you would experience would be in the first hour of the documentary, where Sergio, who despite admitting to the murder, was acquitted. It is sad to know how some people are blinded by something that is not quite necessary. The entire incident is set in Mexico, Though some of us don't know about the unthinkable level of injustice there, what we know is that femicide and injustice is something that is happening all around the world. In some countries, it is even worse than the other. At this point, it won't be a lie to say that almost every country suffers from more than expected cases of women being killed or other cruel acts on them without anyone being punished for it. This is one of the most amazing documentaries you can watch. I personally think that this documentary is indeed a must-watch. While I felt that the storytelling should have been a bit tighter and direct, and I definitely feel like there should be more to it. However, don't let that stop you watching this. It is amazing to watch a woman like Marisela Escobedo and her struggle to seek justice for her daughter, which is truly a sight to see. It somehow makes you feel empowered as well, to see how a mother is ready to cross boundaries to punish the person who brutally killed her daughter. It is impressive to watch friends and families of Marisela who tirelessly supported her throughout her journey to seek justice, and how many families who were affected because of femicide came forward to support Marisela till her last breath. Don't forget to click the first link in the description to learn how to make $10,000 a month online. So I suggest you all watch this documentary on Netflix right now. And for those who have already watched this documentary, comment down below your views about this true crime documentary. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to turn on post notifications for more.